Hello everyone, in this video we'll talk about is reservation against the concept of equality. Equality is the state of being equal, especially in status, rights and opportunities. Equality means each individual or group of people is given the same resources and opportunities regardless of their circumstances. In social and racial justice movements, equality can actually increase inequities in communities as not every group of people needs the same resources or opportunities allotted to them in order to thrive. There is a very long debate whether reservation is against the right to equality. To find the answer to this question, let's dig deeper into today's video. What is a reservation? Reservation is a form of positive discrimination created to promote equality among marginalized sections so as to protect them from social and historical injustice. Generally, it means giving preferential treatment to marginalized sections of the society in employment and access to education. It was originally developed to correct years of discrimination and to give a boost to disadvantaged groups. In India, people have been historically discriminated against on the basis of caste. Reservation is a system of affirmative action in India that provides historically disadvantaged groups representation in education, employment, and politics. According to this system, the provisions of Indian Constitution allows the Indian government to set reserved quotas or seats which lower the qualifications needed in the exams, job opening, etc. for socially and economically backward citizens. Reservation in India is given to all three groups, namely SCs, STs and OBCs. The scheduled caste are the communities which had been at the bottom in the caste system. Originally, reservation was only given to SCs and STs but was later extended to OBCs in 1987 after the implementation of the Mandal Commission report. So basically, it is clear that the reservation or quotas granted in India is based on the caste identities. The reason behind this reservation or quotas are the way to cope up with the discrimination these groups face by birth. The government of India has a duty to ensure equality among its citizens. Reservation is considered as one of the key tools in controlling social oppression and injustice against certain classes. Those who don't belong to SCs, STs and OBCs are not grouped together as general category. The general category consists of persons of higher caste and they do not get any benefits from these reservations as these reservations are mainly aimed for the protection and promotion of socially discriminated sections. There are also reservations for women as part of gender reservations. This is highly needed for a society like India where a girl child is killed before birth itself. The reservation for women will help them in empowering them through education as well as economic development, which will eventually lead to social and political development of women all over the country. Right to equality and reservation. The Constitution of India guarantees equality of status and opportunity, and Article 14 of the Constitution of India, as a fundamental right, ensures equality before law and equal protection of the law within the territories of India. The aim of the laws is to ensure that all persons should be treated equally before law, without giving any privilege to anyone. Article 14 forbids any forms of class legislation but does not forbid classification which rests upon reasonable grounds of distinction. If the classification is not reasonable, the legislative or executive action will be arbitrary, and the guarantee of equality under Article 14 would be breached. Government has a duty to help weaker sections of caste-based society. Equality has been promised by the state under Article 14 of the Indian Constitution, which is considered as the soul of the Constitution, because without equality, no country can be considered as a republic. Equality itself means that like should be treated alike and not unlike, should and unlike and not unlike should be treated like. This is why Article 14 permits reasonable classification between likes and unlikes, so that unlikes should be given special treatment to bring them up on equal footing with the likes. It is a fact that the identical treatment in unequal circumstances would amount to just injustice itself. So, we can say that the reservation is a concept developed in India to provide special care and protection to the weak so that they can overcome their weakness and compete with the privileged or stronger sections. The Supreme Court held that there is neither a basic right to reservation nor a duty by the state government to provide it. In the M. Nagraj case, the Supreme Court stated that the state is not bound to provide reservation in promotions, but if it does so, it must be in favor of sections that are backward and inadequately represented in the services based on qualifications data. It had been inferred from Article 16.4 and 16.4a that these are exceptions to the equality in governance jobs, which the state can exercise in order to provide social mobility to vulnerable classes. The reservation is no longer seen by the Supreme Court as an exception to the equality rule. Rather, it is a facet of equality. In conclusion, we can clearly see that the reservation is provided for the classes who were deprived of so many rights and privileges in the past that it was necessary for the country to provide them with special rights in order to bring them equal to those who consistently exploited them and became rich. That's why the concept of equality came into picture, so that these people can have access to education, employment, etc. on the basis of reserved seats, which cannot be claimed by the privileged class, making those seats less competitive. As now that the needs of a person changes from person to person. For instance, a 5-year-old kid needs 2 rotis to satisfy his hunger, but a 25-year-old would need more than 2 rotis to satisfy his hunger. So, giving him, let's say, 5 rotis would not mean that the 5-year-old is getting discriminated against. As already mentioned, like should be treated alike and not unlike should be treated like. This is how the provision of reservation is not against equality but is a catalyst to achieve equality. Thank you so much for watching the video.